The next section I'm going to devote to Mark Winfield of Warsop, and he's sent in 9 questions. Of course, that's completely fine. There's no bar on how many questions they can ask you. First one is this. The board gave an estimated break-even number of supporters to back up the season ticket deal last pre-season. Will the board be doing the same again this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've budgeted at one end at 2,500 for this season. Not season ticket holders, in general as attendance. And obviously that all depends on, once, as I said before, the breakdown of concessions and juniors and adults.
So how many of those will be season ticket holders have you budgeted for?
Oh, budgeted for around about 1,000. I think we're at 1,100.
So you've got that already, really, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I think we're closed at 1,021, and no doubt we'll be doing an update again at the end of the week, and we've had more coming in. But it depends on the breakdown as well. You know, we have got a breakdown of adults, concessions, etc., how that works for us. But we feel in general round terms, we can get around about the 1,100-1,200 figure with the increased prices. I think we've done well.
And you're looking for 1,300 walk-ins?
Yes.
Realistic?
Yeah, I think Mansfield has got a desire for the football club in the town, and at 2,500, I'm sure we can sustain that in this league. You know, we're talking about this league. This is the league that we're in. You know, we've had to come to terms with it over the last 2 seasons now, and you know, hopefully we can go that one better for next year.
Second question from Mark. Bearing in mind that the fact that the Luton game was switched to a midweek, and other high-profile matches have also been switched, which has lost the club valuable revenue. Will the club be forecasting a worst-case scenario for next season, or a best, worst, or average scenario based on potential attendances?
Well, I think in any business you do. I won't say the word of worst-case scenario, but going on this past season, you know, we've used our figures from there, and you know, our judgment as well, thinking on on commercially, what better can we do? I mean, we should do better on commercial this year because of the issues well with Canterbury. Etc. So with the new shirt, so the swings round about it. But yeah, in any business we've got the low ebb, the medium, and at the top of the shop, you know, everything's going really well. What extra we can put into the budget?
Third question. Now, we've touched on this in the first part, which was of course a written format of Ask the Chairman. This new feature here on MansfieldTown.net. But Mark asks, does the board believe the squad for this season was too big and could have been enhanced by making better use of the loan system? Now, you've answered that before last week, and you said it was too big.
Yeah, it wasn't me who was saying it was too big, it was the manager. You know, he came in his first 6 months, got us very tight at the back, and in a way kept us away from that relegation zone. This season we started off very tight, and I think his own admission said that he brought too many players in to swap around the squad. And this season he'd like it a lot tighter, which we're in total agreement with.
And the second part of the question, could we have made better use of the loan system?
I suppose that comes with I suppose that comes with as well when you look back at probably the injury situations and things like that. They've got to be looked at as a way of bringing benefit to the football club, not just a stopgap to put a player on a pitch, I would have thought. So this season I would have thought, no doubt about that.
Fourth question from Mark. He says, the catering, in my opinion, has been very poorly run this season. Would the board consider taking this back in-house, as has happened at other clubs?
Yes, that's all in-house. Lindley Catering's contract's finished now, and we're running all our own concourses.
Will that see a potential drop in prices for food and beverages? Because that has been a real bone of contention. They are too high, aren't they?
Well, they still sell well. I mean, it's getting the balance between are they too high or aren't they too high?
Do you think they're too high?
Well, you compare going to football all around the country. I mean, we're in comparison to everybody else around the country. I mean, I'm not going to say they're too high. They're set at a figure that we feel is beneficial to run it in the first place. I mean, you get to a break-even point where you're saying if you're going to take the catering on and you've got your staff staff costs, and you've got your costs in actually on the match day of having somebody run it, stock checks, making sure all the orders are in, etc. There's a cost to all this. So food has got to be set at a certain price. I'm not saying that there will be the same prices as Lindley set last season, but we have got to realise that there is a cost to all of this. We can't run it as a charity, and as I said from day one, every penny that comes into this football club was spent on this football club.
Will the actual quality be better as well? Because a lot of people tell me, including my dear mother, who never moans at anything, but she came to a match and she said the Bovril was abysmal.
Was it? Bovril was abysmal. Well, we'll get that sorted out for your mother. but no, I think by taking it in house, we had so fans realise what we do. We've had a few spotters for ourselves throughout the last few games of the season at the kiosks, watching at half time before the game, and the customer service has been appalling. No smile on the face, obviously not happy what they're doing, and the customer was an inconvenience. Well, that's gone. So that's one of the reasons why I want to take it in house.
Another step forward there. That's an improvement, definitely.
I think so.
Yeah. Fifth question from Mark. Valuable revenue was generated from the calendar sales by the programme sellers in early January. I presume, he says, that the club made a loss on these after costs. Is this a potential way of selling other merchandise prior to kick-off when the club shop is very busy, i.e. selling scarves and hats?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea, but also we've been having a sale of merchandise while the club shop's being refurbished at the moment, and that's been happening in the Sandy Pate bar, and that's gone down very, very well. So, and also the kiosks this year will do the same. Now we own our own kiosk, have our own kiosk bag, shall I say. We can actually put merchandise in there, so if it's through the Wintermoors gloves, hats, scarves, etc., can be purchased there. I mean, the other way forward, is like the old pictures. Some of our senior supporters might remember going through to the pictures where somebody walks through with a tray selling confectionery, etc. So that could happen. But people, supporters, like I say, once the whistle blows, you don't want anybody in your way. You're watching a game. So I think it's important that we do put our merchandise around the ground as much as we can.
Has the club inquired about renting a retail unit for whatever amount in the town centre to raise revenue? He says, Mark, the council owe us a favour or two.
Yeah, we've actually got one of our vice presidents that's got a couple of properties in the town that one's vacant, has actually said we can actually use it. So we are in discussions with that. Once again, I will go back to, and not belittling our fantastic football club, is the fan base big enough to then be branching out to a shop in the town centre?
Where would this be?
Just generally in the town. So the shop just off the marketplace near the town hall. But just going back to that, the fan base being big enough for us to then be branching out. All it may do is just take one lot of custom from the club to the town centre. So on a match day, you may not get less people buying, etc. But it is something there that we've been asked if we'd like to use, with the lottery happening as well. I mean, that's quite an interesting scenario that could work with that. Then we could obviously on-sell the tickets from there with some merchandising, as well as promoting the events out of the town centre. But wouldn't have to be a permanent 7 days a week, but possibly a Thursday, Friday before a match on a Saturday that it was open.
Following many games with very poor followings from away teams at Field Mill last season, is there a benefit to closing the North Stand only to have it open again at half time and full time for access? Could the 38, for example, from Salisbury, Mark asks, could they not have used the entrance and facilities in the lower West Stand, saving costs on stewards, etc.?
We think so, but unfortunately with the ground that we have under the Taylor report, etc., we must in this type of ground provide separate toileting and refreshment facilities. We still save on our stewarding by doing it that way, but we could save even more if they allow us just to be use our common sense and general human nature of the good-humoured fans that do come to our ground a lot of the time. And as we go away, we know we mix very well around the ground. But it's just the nature of the ground that we have.